Today we're going to be making pumpkins, fondant pumpkins. You can also use gum paste. I've chosen to use fondant today because I didn't have any gum paste left. But anyways, so the tools we will be needing today are cornstarch if you have any. I prefer cornstarch, but some people also use icing sugar. I use cornstarch because icing sugar is it's sweet, and fondant is also sweet, or gum paste. So yeah, this is just the Trader Joe's. I also use other brands, but I prefer Trader Joe's. You also need a leaf veiner. You don't have to use a veiner. I just found this, and it has different things on it, but I found different veiners. Leaf veiners on here. You can also use the back of a knife and or anything else you can find around the house. It doesn't really matter. You will also need green food coloring, red and yellow, or orange, but I couldn't find any brown food coloring at the supermarket today. I did go to a specialty food store, but I forgot to pick it up. You will also need some brown if you want to do other leaves or anything, but I'm going to do green leaves today. You will also need black food coloring. I use this different Wilton brand because I like Wilton's black better. It's really hard to get black, but with Wilton it's like a gel, and it works really well. So I already have gone and done my dyeing. That's why my hands have different colors on them. I've done my black. It turned out really well. I was really happy with it, and that was only on one try. And you have the green. I did more of a lighter green just because my orange turned out to be a little lighter. So with the black food coloring, I just want to keep it covered because I don't want it to dry out. It dries out slower if you cover it. My black food coloring, it's like a gel. You just open it like this, and then you take a toothpick, and then you can just dab it on. I took the back of a fork, and I just kind of dabbed it on. It's just because more came out that way. And so I put that on, I dyed it. I used gloves, and then I had to use my hands a little bit. My hands are a little black now because of it. So I do recommend using gloves. Although you have more control if you're just using your bare hands. And I have green. I think I used about 3 or 4 drops for this. It turns out pretty light actually for 3 or 4 drops for this amount, for the ratio. So yeah, I just kind of dabbed it on there. For orange, I took a little bowl, and I put 2 drops of red food coloring in and about 4 or 5 drops of yellow in. The red just gives it the darkness and to make it orange. If I was doing this for a cake for somebody else, I probably would make it a darker orange, but since I might just do this for cake for myself, I will just leave it like this. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to start off with my pumpkin, and I'm just going to shape it. You can make pumpkins, you can make the pumpkin any type you want because honestly, first of all, it's your pumpkin, and also pumpkins come in any different shapes or sizes. I'm going to do mine more lower. Okay, so right now I'm just kind of using the palms of my, or not the palms, just the sides of my hands. It doesn't have to be perfect as well because honestly, you're not going to get it perfect if you're just using your hands. I mean, you could, but if you're doing a lot of these at one time, chances are everyone is not going to be the same, and you probably won't have the time to. So I think I'm quite happy with this, just like this. And now I'm just gonna put that to the side. I'm just gonna take my saran wrap and just put it over there for a little bit. And now I'm going to take my black fondant, and this is a lot of like technical work as well. Like, I do have pretty big fingers, so might just take me a little bit. I'm just going to put some cornstarch down, just a tiny bit. Just in case it won't stick. Okay, so I'm going to take, so I don't need as much black fondant as I dyed, but I can, again, if you're doing more than one. So I think this is a little too long. So now I'm just doing this, and then, yeah, so I'm just take really any part. Thing is, like, with the hands being so uneven sometimes, it can turn out very uneven. Okay, so I'm quite happy with this. You can just dust this off later. And then I'm going to take my pumpkin. As you can see, I have already kind of put a hole in it, and yeah, I have my pencil here. I'm gonna put them in the back of it, just very slowly, just a little bit down. I've put it down about 4 or 5 millimeters, and I'm just going to take a little bit of water, just a little bit, because that's what is going to be our glue. So I just put a little bit of water on my finger. I've just dabbed it around the sides. And I'm going to take this other bit that I had and squish it down, and then use my fingers like this. So make sure your fingers are dry, again, because if you get fondant wet and you don't intend to, it can get pretty messy, and a lot of the time you just can't really work with it anymore. So now I'm just going to put this right here. With a little swirl. And then I'm just going to put this to the side, and now I'm going to start on my leaf. I'm just going to dry this just because I just don't want it to stick. So now I'm going to just squish it out with my hands, put it in the cornstarch a little bit because it is just a little sticky, and if it gets really sticky in the silicone, chances are it's not gonna be very happy in coming out. Okay, so I've decided to do a little one. I'm just doing it this way, and then I'm going to take my knife and there you go. And now, there you go. And remember, we need to keep the ratio, so you don't really want to do a big silicone leaf. I mean, you can if you want to. So now I am just cutting it like this. And since there's already a little bit of water there, but I'm just going to dab my finger with a little bit more water. Now I should have done this before, but you can also do it after. It's optional, you don't have to. It just gives it a little more detailing. Take your knife and just go like this. And just go like this. And again like this. And then another one until you get to the end. Now this is where I said, oh, I should have done this before because it's getting in the way a little bit. There you go. And then you can just kind of fix it up a little bit. You can do 2 leaves if you'd like. And I think I'm going to do that because just to make it a little more effective. So I'm just taking this right here. And since it's not very wet and not very hot in the room, it's fine without having cornstarch on it. You can also peel it as well, but I'm just using a knife. And then we can put it right here. I'm just filling your finger with a little water. You can also take a paintbrush as well. I just like using my hands because I think I have more control over what I can do with fondant when I have it like this. Okay. And this one doesn't have as much veining detail because I touched the top of it. But other than that, it is a really nice thing to just put on top of a cake. I'll do another tutorial on filling a cake, decorating a cake, and many other things, and different videos and tips that I use for buttercream and everything. And see, I have so much green left and so much black left. So you don't really need a lot of fondant for this. The only big amount of fondant that you need is for the pumpkins. And if you're doing like 20 of them at a time, it can be pretty time consuming, but when you get used to it, it's pretty fun. Anyway guys, thanks for watching.